Greetings, Michaela.
Hi, how are you?
Hi, I'm very good. It's wonderful to see you in your element of sound and how you use sound to colour the world. I was just wondering if you could just share a little bit about who you are, and what you do and why you love doing what you do.
Thank you. Yeah, wonderful to be here. I work with a set of 7 crystal bowls, so it's a chakra set, and each bowl corresponds to a note of the octave and a chakra and a colour of the rainbow. So this would be your base, C, Muladhara chakra, red. This would be orange, Svadhisthana, and that would be the note D. This would be yellow, the Manipura or belly chakra, and that's the note E. This is F, heart chakra, the colour green, possibly pink. The chakra that brings all the other chakras together, and that's, as I said, is the note F. Then we have G, that would be blue, and what else? What is it called? It's called Vishuddhi. Then we have the Ajna, which is A, the note A, and that's the indigo or midnight blue. And then we have the crown chakra, the Sahasrara, which is a B, the note B. And the tone of these crystal bowls, they are made of pure crystal, silicon quartz crystal, is a very, very pure tone. So when you do an audio or a video, the transmission is slightly less, although not necessarily that much less, because with our intention, it can still be a very powerful healing. But when you're in the presence, in a room where these bowls are played, the overall tone resonates and entrains and brings our body to a state of stillness. And there's many explanations for why. And basically, when you switch on a light, you switch it on. But one of the explanations is resonance. So we resonate with the sound. Another is we are made of 70% water. So the water in our body also resonates to that intention. And entrainment is another, which is basically when you have clocks in a room or pendulums swinging or dancers dancing, they start to come into a common rhythm. And we tend to do that when we hear the sound of the bowls. It also creates a very shamanic space, a timeless space. And with very, very, as you can see, they're beautiful. They're holding, they're like white light, so that each bowl holds all the colours of the rainbow. They're also holding the ray, the healing ray, and the angelic quality, the divine human quality. And really, they are a tool to activate consciousness. So that's why I'm excited about working with them. Because even if you don't really know much about it or care, sometimes people will just come along, lie down, and they'll be bowled over by the bowls. It can be very, very powerful. We have had amazing experiences, and animals like them too.
There's also, yes, I can imagine. And I mean, my experience of the bowls have been phenomenal. And just hearing you talk, I'm just having a sense of, for anyone who's into crystals, that quartz crystal is one of the main crystals found on this planet, I imagine. So I imagine quite a lot of the planet is actually made of quartz crystal. And I'm also thinking of the liquid crystal, as in our blood is, in a way, is liquid crystal. That's
Absolutely.
the way. Yeah.
And our brains are
Yes.
a colloidal liquid crystal substance, our bones.
Yeah.
I remember one time playing, oh gosh, it's sad, the child was a baby at the time and recently died at the age of 13. But I remember playing for her as a baby and her bones actually vibrating in resonance with the bones. Her name's Angelique, so I'm just going to remember her because she may be with us in spirit, a real beauty. And sad she passed over so young.
Yes.
Well, sad for her family.
Yes. Yeah. Is there anything you can say about the future of healing in terms of the use of sound frequency?
Yeah, I think this is a cutting-edge tool, and my sense is it's going to be like how yoga was, say, 30 or 40 years ago. 30, 40 years ago, yoga was something that got done in India, but it wasn't such a mainstream part of our health or exercise or known in the West. And sound is an incredible tool, and I think there are many applications. For example, in mental health, which now they say 1 in 3 people are likely to suffer a mental health problem in their lifetime, maybe even 2 out of 3. Often all that is offered, well, we get therapy, maybe that's great, but often it's medication, and people are stuck. This is a real way of clearing up entities, clearing psychosis, clearing addiction, clearing depression. And it's a cutting-edge tool that actually, it's a real shame it's not being more widely used. And I have used it in those contexts with amazing results. Also, cancer cells are shown to dissolve in the presence of the pure sound. And again, everybody is on their own healing journey, but as part of a holistic treatment, having sound baths on a regular basis is really, really the only one.
Yeah. Another thing that I feel very strongly about the bowls for me is that the meditation you did earlier, where you were talking about the human body being the conduit between heaven and earth, and how the bowls in particular also have particularly when you hear the whole set, which you don't have at the moment, but the full set, when that's playing, it really does connect you to, align you to the universal soul template. In other words, being connected not just to this planet, but the whole of the universe.
Yeah. In fact, this is one set. This is the traveling set, and then there's another set with some big ones that are of 7 that are like mountains. But yeah, you're right. It does connect you to that sense of the cosmos. And one of the issues for humanity is in our industrialized civilization and now our very digital, virtual world. We're becoming more disconnected from our bodies, from nature, from common humanity. One of the things this does, it actually activates us again in the cosmos. So we are under the stars, but so often in the city you can forget that stars exist, which is unbelievable because they're such a miracle. And even our sun, often people are not so connected with the sun and of that. And as we deepen that connection to our earth, we can't hurt our planet. And unfortunately right now, people in power are hurting the planet because they have lost that connection. You would not frack your mother. You know, that sounds like something really bad. But you know, you would not. It's like an intense chemotherapy going deep, deep, deep into the water tables. You know, it's like the mining we've done. It's like our body, the earth, our deep ecology has had enough. And she's letting us know.
Yeah. It sounds, I mean, it's beautiful, and I love the way you have expressed all of that. And you also mentioned something in the meditation about bringing, was that an owl?
Yeah. It was here last Friday when I was teaching, and everybody heard it, and I missed it for some reason, but yes.
Did you just hear it?
Yes.
Wow.
And we have the
I know.
owl.
So we've got owl medicine today, which is wonderful.
It's a magical quality.
Yeah, there it is. How amazing. You mentioned something about calling something from the future. And it feels very much to me that these bowls are very much from the future, almost like medicine from the future, or maybe even timeless. Who's to say?
It was something I heard Charles Eisenstein say. I think it was somebody, he was interviewing Sabine and Benjamin, and they talked of a memory, of a future memory of a healed earth. And what has come about, or what's becoming more clear, our media and our news is incredibly negative. We forget that we are so creative as human beings, so it's creating a negative spiral. And many, many people are in a deep despair and hopelessness about peace on earth. And if we can begin to envision, imagine, create, discuss, converse, and have cafes, people visualizing, sensing, feeling, creating departments of peace in governments, not departments of war, where the studies of all the strategies that create peace are really brought in. We start to bring in that. So it was a future memory of a healed earth. And I think it's like, does something to ourselves as well, because it's almost like our nature is health and love. And when we're not in that, we're in a state of discord. And what this does, it brings us back into a place of harmony or accord, where there's a zzz and the balance is restored.
Absolutely. I was just wondering if you'd like to share a little bit more about the kind of work that you are doing on the planet in terms of healing, and why someone would come to you for to be in the presence of you and the bowls and anything else that you bring.
Yeah, great. Trying to think where to begin. I guess I was a very sensitive child, came from a medical stroke healing family. My father was a doctor, and I was a nurse, but that wasn't quite a fit. Then I became a homeopath, and then later I studied yoga and dance, and I also studied working with the sound. One of the things I love about the sound is you can work with 1 people or 50 people or 1,000 people, and you'll all get it at once. And also now with the rise of the internet, particularly the homeopathy, the energy medicine, the life coaching, can do that all online around the globe. So that's very exciting.
And quantum touch as well.
Yeah, and the quantum touch can also be done remotely as well as in person. And that is, I love it. It's extraordinary. And as you give that, you receive it very powerfully. Although I guess in a way that's the same with all healing. There's an energy exchange that happens. Yeah.
But my feeling is that with all these different things, homeopathy, quantum touch healing, life and health coaching, EFT, which is emotional freedom techniques.
That's the tapping where you tap the end of the meridians, and that brings you back to a 0 point. So
that's something for the individual to do.
Basically, when you're doing it in a session, you can having somebody work it with you gives you the impetus and the power.
Right.
But then you learn to also do it in between sessions.
Right.
It can be very powerful. Yeah.
And also, I suppose what we have personally spoken about is how important it is to release trauma from the body and from all aspects of the body. And is this ultimately your goal through your own experience of?
Definitely, and it's something, I think I've been a slow learner, but also I've been graced with quite a few traumas, and now at a soul level I know much more deeply that everything that happens for you rather than at you or to you. And sometimes the lessons are awful, and I have put out a message now to Great Spirit, it's enough already, and the gift of going through and healing trauma deeply, consciously, in an awake way, which I believe I have been doing. Particularly, I suffered a very serious trauma in South Africa, which is something that's happened to women around the planet. I'm probably going to do a separate, complete piece about that. But having gone deeply into healing that trauma with my own practice, using all the tools I know, I can now bring that to others, and that is so exciting for me. And it's also like I've become a much bigger container. Oh, that's my phone. And that's a really great reminder about being happy, which has been a key in my healing. It's about raising our vibration.
Yeah.
And so that's why that's my ringtone.
Yeah. And I suppose also what I'm getting about trauma being in the body is that the bowls in particular can really help to dislodge that, the energy, the imprint and the residue that still might be in the body, which perhaps other types of therapy or even psychotherapy might not really get to dislodging the...
It's an extraordinary tool, and it's a fast track. And at another level, nothing's a fast track because we have to do the work, but it is also a real fast track. It activates light, as you can see there, bright. It's quartz crystal. We are crystalline beings. And with the increasing consciousness arising on the planet at this time, it's an amazing tool. You know, and I would like more people to be working with bowls, because then we can fast track shifting the vibration to activating peace, which is really, really needed right now.
In a way, I'm thinking technology, but in a way this is a form of technology. And how wonderful it is now that we do have the internet and Skype, which is a form of technology whereby this information, you know, or the intelligence within this technology can be transmitted online. People can have sessions online with you if they wanted. Okay.
We can work with the sound. Also, with an online session, we can work with some toning and with the life coaching very, very deeply. And it's amazing because basically the whole world is connected.
Yeah. And it seems to me also that homeopathy, and particularly the way you work, and quantum touch, is they're all resonating within the same energy field or frequency in terms of healing.
Well, they're vibrational medicine. So homeopathy is using substances that have been vibrationally or homeopathically prepared. So they're diluted and succussed, which means they vibrate. And there's a very specific serial dilution, so that when you prepare a product homeopathically, at the end of the, say it to a 6C or a 30C, there's no more of the actual material left, only the energetic imprint of that healing substance. Which is why Masaru Emoto, Dr. Emoto's work is so amazing, because it shows the power of memory of water and that things are energy. And that shifted the consciousness, because some scientists have dismissed homeopathy, and now people are recognizing that it's definitely got a place.
And quantum touch?
Quantum touch is amazing. It's basically, again, it's all about working with love, but basically it's something very simple that anyone can learn, and I would urge people to do it. But it's an energy medicine. So it can, and it's beautiful to do it hands-on, but you can also do it remotely. And it's fantastic.
There's also something about two things. One, living in a city and the denser energies and a lot of negativity and stuff like that, and then the blocks that people use to stop them from feeling that pain or fear or whatever by addictions and food and sex or whatever it is that people might be doing to cover that up. And then of course there's also the old therapeutic ways of dealing with pain and fear and trauma, which is taking that person to that place. And people can be in that place for months or even years of psychotherapy, and they're just anchored in that wound. And I think that is now actually becoming quite yesterday.
I agree.
I'm
so with you on that. I think it's so destructive.
Yeah.
I've been there, done that. I meditated myself out of existence. I was meditating non-stop, although I have to say it's back very strongly, but in a different way. And I had a great friend. She was seeing someone 3 times a week for 10 years. And I was into therapy, and we would be so miserable together. And it was a real teaching, but quite hard to shift, because you almost become addicted to, and being a sensitive and an empath. I can't really choose to not feel. So again, raising my vibration is the most important thing to do. And of course, this work will bring out anything that needs to be healed, so it's not going to suppress. But as you say, consciously emoting is very different from going down into the mire and being there for a year or so, which is a trap. And I think it is outmoded. Now we have too many technologies. We have the tapping, we have quantum touch, we have Reiki, we have expanding consciousness. I was listening to someone, Rika Zimmerman, speaking of happiness and talking about how she healed herself of cancer in 4 months because she had a tribe of people who loved her. And she was talking about how our cells communicate. And I completely got that. And my cells picked up what she was speaking about. So I was then able to transcend a very difficult situation, which is the living situation I've been in the last few weeks. And I'm like, why am I doing this? But I have anchored that very powerfully.
Yeah.
And therefore I'm going to be able to offer that for others.
Yeah. I think I totally agree. And also my feeling is the messages that I've been getting a lot recently is really about well-being. Truly well-being, and you know, there are many well-being clinics, but really to feel a sense of well-being, what does that mean? And for me, that means for all aspects of life, from bottom chakra to survival and sex and sexuality and sensuality and your emotional realm, the whole sort of cauldron area where we hold all our feelings, for all of that to be okay, right? I mean, that's a huge one. Just those lower 3 chakras are huge in themselves, and then of course you've got the heart and your expression, the voice, the throat, and you know, the third eye and all of that. But just to really have a sense of well-being, but somehow I'm not so concerned from the heart upwards. I'm more concerned for the lower 3 chakras, because those are the aspects that really make us human, or the aspects of our human experience that I suppose we have bypassed far too much.
Absolutely,
you know,
and or separated from.
Yeah.
And it's like with those chakras, it's about embodiment. And in fact, they're not higher or lower.
Yeah.
In fact, they're fuller.
Yeah,
It's more about fullness and expansion rather than that's high and that's low.
Yeah.
Because this is as high as that, actually.
Yes, indeed.
And that, I think, is coming through as well. And I think what you say is that our inner and outer ecology, our bodies and our planet and our food, all is a temple. And actually, when we start to integrate what food we put into our bodies, how we treat the animals or treat the environment and our neighbours and our neighbouring countries, it all really creates a ripple effect of well-being.
Yeah, exactly. One thing that I find is really paramount to live a life full of well-being is to really understand what's happening in the cauldron. The fact that in this area, which is the abdomen, our domain, area, which is ours, and it is our inner guidance system. Just like you'd have a sat nav, you know what I mean? And it tells us moment by moment how we're feeling about being in the presence of another person, how we're feeling on the planet, how we're feeling in an environment, how we're feeling within our own bodies. And the thing is, we have never really been told or taught even how this inner guidance system works, how what our emotions are relaying to us, what our feelings are relaying to us, what our instinct is knowing to be true, and we're not listening to all these instinctual things that we don't anchor within ourselves. And I think all
it's
this
being reclaimed, but I think those were secrets of the feminine, of the goddess, of the priestess, of the nymphs, of the sibyls, of the oracles, that are arising because the immunity of humanity, the immunity of the planet, is coming through no matter what. And also, along with the sacred goddess, sacred feminine, we have the sacred masculine. That's also, it's entwined, and we can't have one without the other within us. So that which you speak about, embodiment and well-being, is really
that's a huge form of intelligence. Maybe that is more feminine. I'm not convinced at the moment whether it's feminine or masculine, but I know that and I know that it is an intelligence, just like the brain is an intelligence, and I just wonder what part of the computer, whether that is simply the computer, and then you've got the heart.
The heart intelligence is much more strong than our incredible brains.
Yes. So quite clearly it is a centre between the brain and the abdomen, and somehow with the 3 working together, that is when we really become a genie in a way.
and also somewhere when we get to that place of integration, There's no competition. So you being in your fullness is a great joy to me. And then you're supporting me being in my fullness. And we have this feeling of almost in ourselves feeling loved up, or feeling sunshine, or juicier. And that is really powerful and profound. And that's, I think we must have more conversations, Alaenura.
I think so.
Online.
I think so too.
And that might be another book. Now we're getting a few books going here. You know, it's infinite possibilities.
That sounds amazing. Namaste.
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 Thank you. And blessings.
Thank you so much. This is wonderful. And and it will be such a treat for anyone to experience this. And all, with the sound and everything, it is a real menagerie and a spectrum of various forms of healing and therapy.
Yeah, it's actually quite shamanic.
Yeah.
And ancient, as well as we said before, the future, the light of the future coming into now, into presence where there is less, there's no time, coming into now. Yes.
So at the end of this video, we're going to have some links coming up for if anyone wants to have any sessions online or one-to-one. So the information will be coming up at the end of the video. And thank you very much, Michaela, once again. And until the next time.
Have a beautiful day, everyone.
Namaste.